Do you ever sometimes get the feeling that life is just changing all around you and shifting, and you are slowly losing control and you don't know what to do about that? You don't know how to manage that. If you're feeling that way, you are not alone. This video is exactly what you need, because I'm going through exactly the same thing, and I would like to share some strategies that I'm using which are helping me cope with the new changes in my life. So today we're going to be talking about being uncomfortable with change and getting out of stagnation. A quote I recently came upon by the Chinese philosopher and writer Lao Tzu, and which had a major impact on me, says, "Life is but a series of natural, spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. It only creates more sorrow. Let reality be reality." It reminded me that peace doesn't come from controlling the moving tides, but from learning how to float with it. So I have just moved to a completely different country in a new continent with very different people, very opposing culture to what I'm used to, and everything is just rushing at me all at the same time. That's what I feel. I feel like I am overwhelmed. I'm being buried in this new place and I'm trying to cope. So I am currently in Indonesia. And when I say I moved to Indonesia, it's not Bali. I'm not in Bali, okay? When most people say they moved to Indonesia, they mean they moved to Bali, which is just one of the many islands in Indonesia. And they're usually digital nomads or they are influencers, and I am neither of those things. I had to leave my job behind. I had to leave my comfort. I had to leave my routine behind to follow my husband to this beautiful country. Now, I'm not resentful of that fact. Actually, I was so excited when we got the news that he would be coming here for work. I was like, yes, that would be a prime opportunity for us to explore the area, since we love traveling. And I adore learning new things, new cultures, new ways of life, right? And so I was really looking forward to this move. It is temporary, by the way, so I'm still going to be going back to Malta. But anyway, I was looking forward to this, change of life, this change of pace, because we talk about not getting stuck, right? We talk about not being comfortable in our comfort zone. We talk about venturing out of the ordinary and just, changing things up a bit, spicing up life a bit and living life when it comes to you, seizing opportunities. And that's how I envisioned this. So in my mind, I was going to be completely free. I was going to be living a life of leisure, waking up whenever I wanted, doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, without anybody telling me what to do. And I thought I would just, immerse myself into my passions, one of them being YouTube and reading. But the reality is that I have been overwhelmed with some negative feelings besides the excitement. Once the excitement wore off after the first week, I came to the realization that the grass may be always greener at the other side, but it doesn't make it perfect. When you are going through a major life change, it is absolutely normal to go through different phases of emotions. So if it's a positive change, there is the excitement, there is the anticipation, and there is that thing that you're looking forward to. But of course, when it's a negative change, we're going to have a plethora of negative emotions. But that doesn't mean that when you are going through a positive change, you do not have negative emotions associated with the change as well, because fundamentally we are mostly afraid of what we don't know. We have that saying that the devil is better than the angel that you don't, right? I think that is inherently human. The kinds of negative feelings that you may have when you're going through a change, any kind of change, could range from feelings of slight depression, maybe anxiety or stress. And for me, it's translated into feeling lethargic, like I have next to zero zeal to do anything. My passions that I was thinking I was going to pursue, I thought that by now I would have like 4 videos already out. It's been several weeks and I just haven't had any motivation to shoot any video, to write any scripts. I just haven't had the motivation. And I understand why. It's just everything's new now. When I say everything, I mean everything. My biggest frustration is that I'm quite limited with what I can do in my free time. I have all the free time in the world now, but I am quite limited. But then my limitations, I know, is more to do with my mindset than the reality of where I'm living. And if you are going through a change, sometimes the negative feelings that you have are more closely related to your mindset. And that's because our brains are wired to resist change. Our brains are wired to resist anything that is out of the ordinary, that we know and we are 100% sure brings us pleasure. And so when we bring in anything, or if anything happens that disrupts that pleasure pattern, our brain just wants to resist that. And we are inadvertently, our brain is us. I think that our brain commands us, but our souls command our brain. I don't know if that makes any sense, because otherwise we would just be working on autopilot if it's just the brain doing everything for us, right? We have kind of control over our brains to control our bodies and to control our actions. That's just how I see it. I don't know if it makes sense. Let me know. So let's talk about why we fear change. Now, we are more afraid of risk and failure than the change itself. And it's because we are not sure of what's going to happen. We're not sure of where this change is going to lead us to. And so we resist it. It's very uncomfortable. It's very new. And the older we get, I'm in my 40s now, the older we get, the more resistant we are to change. However, my biggest fear, more than change itself or more than the risk in the future or failing, is being stagnant. And that is one thing that I feel holds us back from living a more full and fulfilled life, is just accepting the status quo and being cozy in our corner. But nothing new ever grows in the cozy corner. You have to get out of that corner. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to egg myself on and move forward and to accept this new change. Now, it will, of course, be very difficult if this change that you're experiencing is something that is catastrophic, like, let's say, a medical condition, or let's say a breakup, a romantic breakup, or even a friendship breakup, but then that's where the strategies that I'm going to share with you come into play, whether you're going through a negative or a positive change. The first thing that I do is I give myself permission to feel. I give myself permission to have those feelings. Human emotions are valid. Every human emotions are valid. I made a video the other day about feelings of jealousy and envy. And I said that it was a valid feeling and you have a right to your feeling, no matter how good or bad they are. Now, it's what you do after you get those feelings that really matter, that really make a difference in your life and in the lives of the people around you. Fearing change and fearing the unknown is a valid feeling. And you have to process that. You have to go through the process of thinking, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling anxious and stressed. I'm in an uncomfortable place. I don't like what is happening. I don't like this change that's happening. But if I ignore that feeling, then I'm not going to be making any tangible progress, right? I have to acknowledge the feeling and I have to go through that feeling. Now, once you have given yourself permission to feel how you feel, and you've gone through your period of self-pity and, self-indulgence or whatever, then you have to pick yourself up. So the next thing that I do is I clarify what I'm going to, or what the new reality is going to be like for me. So with moving to Indonesia, I know that my new reality is that I don't have easy access to recreational activities. Like I can't just decide to go out and have a walk in a park, because where I am, especially, the nearest park is about 10 kilometers away. I can grab a taxi, of course, and I can go, but the things that I can do out there are limited. So you would need to clarify how you can move forward with the new change in your life. So if you have to take notes down, then just do that. If that's how it works for you, note down the things that you could do to improve your situation, the things that you could do to adjust to this new way of living that you have found yourself in. I would like to use this opportunity to say that not all changes are equal, not all changes are good, and I acknowledge that fact that not everybody will be going through a change that they are willing to go through or that they consider positive in their lives. I have been through a medical change in my life as well, where I had to completely let go of an idea of myself and build up a new one, and it was really painful and it was a long journey, and I know how it feels. So I would like to say that I am very, very sorry if you're going through any painful change in your life at the moment, but I still hope that you will find something useful in this video that can provide some sort of support or maybe comfort in your current circumstances. Once you have clarified, then you need to have support. I can't emphasize enough how much support is important in every stage of our lives. If you have someone that you can talk to that can help you go through this new phase of your life, then please take advantage of that. If you don't have someone, then perhaps you could consider videos, helpful videos, maybe like this one. If you find anything helpful, let me know. So you could find a video that you can listen to that can affirm your feelings and that can help you move forward, or you can find some self-help books that can help you lead you in the right direction, put you in a positive mindset. You can take up some activities that can help you physically, because I think that when you move your body physically, your mind also gets out of the rut. Your mind also gets out of that stagnant idea or ideology that you might have. And so moving your body, I think, is essential. Go out there, go for a walk if you have access to that, or if you're able to. If you're not able to, maybe do some mind exercises, do some breathing exercises, breathe deep and release it slowly. Okay, so take up some mindset activities that can help you calm down and that can help move you forward and accept this change. Now, not all changes will be easy to accept. For some people, it would take longer, and that's also fine. You know, we are not equal, we are not the same, and don't let anybody tell you any differently, okay? You have a right to your feelings, and you have a right to take your time to process what's happening to you, and you have every right to take it as slowly or as fast as you want. It's your life, and nobody should make you feel guilty or make you feel as if you need to please them, because in the end, most people don't really care what you do. They only care in that moment that they are talking to you or that they are reacting to you. But after that, most of the time, 99% of the time, they are thinking about their lives. They are thinking about how they can better themselves, including myself. Okay, I'm not going to lie, but there are some of us who might be a bit more empathetic and who might be more available to listen and to support you. So take advantage of those kinds of people. You don't need anybody in your life who's going to try to push you into what you are not ready to do. Make sure that you are supporting yourself as much as you can. So another thing I'd like to point out is that the you who's here today is not the same you who was here a few years ago. And if it is, then that is called stagnation, right? So imagine the things that you've done a year or 2 years ago and you thought, oh my God, did I really do that? Maybe there are things that you regret. Maybe there are things that have brought you to where you are today. There are decisions that you made that have made you who you are, right? And you cannot separate yourself from that, but it doesn't mean that that was the same person. So if you view change in this way, you could see how that could perhaps lead you to a more positive mindset, right? So that person that you were yesterday is not the same person today and will not be the same person tomorrow. So change is constant. And once we accept that, then it makes it easier to accept our new realities. The next thing that I do is that I try to convince my brain to create a new pathway and a new routine and to lean into that routine. Repeat always works. If I want to build muscles, I know that I have to do several exercises with several reps. I have to repeat and repeat and repeat before I can see any tangible change. And that goes with anything else in life. So if I find myself in a different direction and this direction has created a different routine for me, I have to slowly but surely lean into that new routine. So for me, what I'm trying to do now, I have decided, because initially I would just wake up whenever I wanted to, and I found that most of my day would just be spent doing almost nothing. Now I've decided to start waking up earlier than I was. I get things done around the house. I try to go somewhere new, and I try to understand the new way of life, the new culture. Well, not the culture per se, because it's not a culture that I can completely lean into or that I can completely understand. I know that, but I have to try to understand it, because I cannot expect them to change for me. I can't expect a whole nation to change their way of life just because I arrived. I'm not that narcissistic. I know that I have to adjust myself to this new reality, and the only way I can do that is to understand what's going on and how things work here. So I don't know what change you are going through right now. Is it a move? Is it a breakup? Is it perhaps having new friends or finding yourself in a new environment like me? I would like to know what change that is, and maybe you have a different coping mechanism. Maybe you have something that you would like to share with me that could help me as well. And I hope that you found one or two things from what I've said today that can also help you in your journey to adjusting to your new routine. I hope that you don't stay stagnant and you finally find a way to be comfortable with your new uncomfortable situation. So if you found this video helpful, please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And until the next time, ciao, ciao.